Hello, Purple for Parents. Steve Daniels back. I wanted to give everyone some updates on what's happened over the last couple weeks and what we have coming up in the next week or so. Let's make sure we've got audio and video. Are we good? Guys, give me some heads up, some thumbs up there. Looks like we're live. Got a viewer. Forrest, we good? Audio, video? All right, looks like we are good to go. All right, so a couple weeks ago, as everybody knows, we did get the resolution passed by the AZ GOP, the state committeemen. That was a huge win for Purple for Parents, for parents' rights, and for school choice. As everybody heard last night, President Trump, during his awesome State of the Union address, I hope everybody caught that. If they didn't, they need to go back and watch it. It was an amazing speech, especially taking place the day before this impeachment hoax vote, which went nowhere, as we all knew. But it was a great speech, and a part of that he spoke on was school choice and allowing parents and kids to find the best environment for them that's going to allow them to succeed. As he said, no child should be forced to go to a government school. So that's really the major part of our platform, and that's what we've been pushing for, is the ability for kids to go to the schools that are going to be the best fit for them, whether or not it's for religious purposes or for disability purposes, or just because the parents think that they're going to get a better education at another school, maybe out of district. So that's the parents' right. They should choose, not the government. So we're glad that President Trump is on board with that. We need to keep pushing. Secondly, I want to update everybody on the Chandler Unified School District situation with the indoctrination situation that everybody should be aware of by now, as it regards to the social studies history teacher who was associating fascism, genocide, Hitler with conservatives or Republicans. So that happened a few weeks back, and we had the mother of the student from Castile High on with us, and I interviewed her, Randy, otherwise known as Rihanna, and she's actually in the process of gathering the other students and their parents to attend the board meeting next week on the 12th. So we need everyone to show up and support them and speak out against what's been taking place. So we all know that there's this huge leftist push, whether it's for equity and inclusion, which is just to push racial division in schools, which is very unfortunate because the kids don't recognize it unless the adults tell them to. Secondly, we've got the comprehensive sex education programs that are being pushed into schools by Planned Parenthood and other organizations. Those are extremely harmful to children. It's not any sort of topics and information that should be discussed by kids at that age. I mean, most adults probably don't want to hear the graphic detail that a lot of this goes into. And then thirdly, just the political nature of the discussions that teachers are bringing into the classroom. They're bringing in their own personal political views. And as you can imagine, many of them have gone through these indoctrination centers, otherwise known as universities. And they've been taught a very, very radical ideology, which aligns with socialism, Marxism, communism. And now they're at this point now pressing those beliefs upon our children. So we need to continue to speak out against teachers doing that. And that's what we need to show up on the 12th for. So we're going to support the parents. That's what our group does, is we support the parents and the students. So we're going to show up. It's February 12th at 7 p.m. It's next Wednesday at the Chandler Unified School District offices at 1525 West Fry Road. That's in Chandler, 85224. We'll get an invite up in the group so everyone can RSVP. Bring family, bring friends. You don't have to be a member of the district. What happens in one district affects all kids. It affects all the families. Because what happens is once it gets into one district, it starts to spread. And that's what I've noticed, because I'm not a part of Kyrene or Chandler where I've been going to a lot of board meetings, but I'm starting to hear that Gilbert is starting to talk about equity and inclusion. I hear that that's going to be a topic that starts to come up in their curriculum meetings. And as you can see, it just starts to spiderweb and spread kind of like a cancer. And we need to cut it out while it's small before letting it grow and grab hold. Sorry, you're going to hear the dog in the background here. As Angie said, we need to show up in numbers. It's very true. I already know that the Love Sisters are rallying the troops. They don't even know why. You know, they're showing up because people are unhappy on our side. They just don't even know why. They want to show up and be a mob, essentially. I already saw Chris Love, who's Lindsay Love's sister. Lindsay is the board member, and Chris is her sister. She said, we'll show them what a mob looks like on Twitter. And they don't even really know why. They just know we're showing up or parents are showing up because they're frustrated. So we need to show up and show support. The third thing that we've got is, I'm sure everyone has seen this in the news as far as the ESA situation, or the Empowerment Scholarship Awards accounts that families of disabled kids, military members are able to access funds to where they can take their kids and put them in the best educational environment for them. Many of the schools don't have the programs or support for a lot of these students, so the parents need to have access to the tax dollars that are being spent on their children in that school and take that to another environment. This past week, the Arizona Department of Education, including Kathy Hoffman, who's a superintendent, decided to send out the information of the 7,000 families that are a part of the ESA Scholarship Award. And it wasn't just their contact information, but it included, and thanks for reminding me, Forrest, it also includes the Native American, special needs, military Native American families. Actually, Native American families, they're one of the most impacted and affected by this because they have very limited resources, especially up in northern Arizona. One of the situations is there's a school that's just across the border into New Mexico that these kids need to have access to, and they need to have their funds go towards that. Yet Kathy Hoffman, Save Our Schools Arizona Department of Education, they don't want this to happen because they're saying that this money shouldn't go outside of Arizona. And while I understand that point, this isn't an abuse of the system. This is to allow these kids on the reservation access to a quality education that they otherwise won't have. And I don't think it's right that we would deny them that when their kids have access to private schools. You know, a lot of these people that are against school choice, interestingly enough, have actually either gone to private schools themselves or they have their own kids in private schools. So it's a very interesting a point that they're so against this. You know, it's good for thee, but not for me. And they want to impress their control on everyone else but themselves. So it's just that elitist mentality that the left has, and it's very unfortunate. So thank you for that, Forrest. Thank you for reminding me. So what happened is they ended up sending out a spreadsheet. A FOIA request was made by the Arizona Capital Times, I believe, a reporter from there, and he requested the information of the ESA families, and we're still trying to get to the bottom of why. But what happened is they should have redacted that information when they sent it out, and they did not fully redact it. What they did was they sent out a spreadsheet with the cells blacked out, and once the reporter got it, it somehow ended up in the hands of Save Our Schools, which is a very leftist group that is against school choice, against the ESA. And their members are very close tied to Kathy Hoffman, interestingly enough. So we feel that there's a little bit of collusion going on. We don't feel that this was an accident. It's being investigated. And then this actually last night, this brings us to what happened last night with the ESA. One of our members, Justine Wadsack, who is actually running for Congress out of CD2 down near Tucson, she was notified by email that her daughter's ESA account had been canceled. I'm going to bring her on actually here now. Let me see if I can invite her in. Let's see how this works. I know we can invite somebody in here. All right, I know this will work eventually. So her account, they were notified that their account had been canceled without notice. And I'm trying to invite her into the live, and it's not letting me. Anybody done this before can help me? Forrest, Angie, how do we get the live brought in here? Not sure if it's going to let me do that. So as Forrest mentioned, after they doxed her and her child's diagnosis, they actually canceled her account. Many of the other parents, as Forrest has come on and done his lives, many of the other parents, they're extremely upset because this information has been essentially put out there. And once it's out there, you can't do anything about it. So Justine, if you can request to join the live, there should be a button on the actual live on your phone. Give us 1 second here. We'll see if we can get this to happen. Bear with us, folks, while we go through these technical difficulties. Trying to bring on a friend didn't work on the phone, but Justine, you may be able to try to join the live. If you go onto the post, if you're watching the video on your phone, there should be a little button you can click to join the live. All right, she's trying to join. Might have to do the speakerphone route. Give me 1 second here. We'll try this out beforehand next time and work out the kinks. Forrest, I'm on a cell phone actually. I'm videoing off the cell phone. We have to be on computers. See, Facebook is too complicated for me and the cell phones. Let me grab the other phone real quick so we can do a speakerphone. Can I borrow your phone, please? Can I borrow your phone? How do I? All right, I'm back. Justine, if you can go ahead and call, we'll be set. Sorry guys, almost there. Good old technology. We'll get there eventually. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? So I've got her number. I'm going to give her a call.
Hello?
All right, Justine.
Hey.
I think
I don't know. It's not letting me connect.
Yeah, Forrest said that we'd have to both be on computers to make this work, so we'll get it figured out next time, ahead of time.
Okay.
This was kind of last
Not
minute.
a problem.
This is kind of last minute, everyone, so I appreciate you hanging with us, being patient. So we've got Justine Wadsack on the phone, and she's running for United States Congress out of CD2 down near Tucson, and we appreciate you joining us. Member of Purple for Parents, big supporter. We fully support your run as well.
Thank you.
And just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of give us a real quick explanation of what's taken place, what your history with ESA is, how it's impacted your family, and what you would like to see happen.
Well, long story short, I was at the GOP getting ready to watch the State of the Union like everybody else, and I saw Angie Russo post that ESA was approved, and no sooner than a couple minutes, I see an email that comes in, a notification on my email saying that my ESA was just canceled. And the reason why I was finally able to see it is because a lot of my mail has been going to my junk or spam or promotions, things like that. So I changed how I view my email to just be all email instead of just my inbox. So I get a lot of junk every day, but at least I'm not missing important emails like the one I got last night. So I immediately sent an email back to them saying, where's my funding? How can you just cancel me after I've been approved and I have not even received the money yet? So I notified some people in Purple for Parents who we all, kind of went off and started to look into why this would happen. And it really is an issue because they do not, at ESA, they do not track the Bank of America cards once they've been funded. So they did admit that there's a lot of fraud activity on the Bank of America card system because they will literally approve the contract, get everything signed by people like us, the recipients, and then the next thing you know, they fund the Bank of America card, and then it's off into Bank of America's hands. It has nothing more to do with ESA until you turn in the expense report saying this is how much we used and what we used it on.
So the money. So just to interrupt real quick, if I'm not mistaken, you're saying that the money is funded onto the card, you're given the card, and at that point it's completely up to you to disperse the funds as you deem appropriate, but then also turn in the expense reports.
That is correct. And my complaint to him was, how do I track funding that I don't even know has occurred yet? My issue with ESA is that my experience with the Department of Education and local school districts is that they are not very responsive and they don't always meet their deadlines or do what they're supposed to do. So when I was approved, that didn't mean to me that I even had the money yet.
Okay. So you got approved and you're saying it was delayed? You're saying that the funds were delayed.
Yes, and not only that, but my approval was delayed. I didn't get approved until November 8th of 2019, and
Wow.
my expense report would have gone through to December 30th, and I said that's not even a full quarter of school. So how can I be held responsible for funding that didn't reach me at all, much less that came in late and didn't give it? Even if it had come in on time, it would have come in late, which would have not allowed me any time to find an appropriate school choice for her. One of my complaints is that they don't give any of the recipients any ideas of what the options are. And their response to me was that they can't show any kind of favoritism to schools, so they'll never make suggestions on what people can use and can't use. So it's a little ludicrous.
Okay.
But the bottom line is that when it didn't show up, I didn't think anything of it because they've been very consistent about being inconsistent, if you will. So
interesting. So essentially what they're doing is they're not meeting their legal requirement to meet a deadline. At that point, then, they're putting the onus on the parent who may or may not be aware they've gotten the funding, may have not actually received the funding, putting the onus on them to then turn in the appropriate paperwork under a very tight deadline, and then they cancel them if they don't do it.
You nailed it on the head.
Wow. So, so as Forrest said, it's really kind of a program designed to fail, and I'm not sure when this was set up. You'll have to forgive me because I'm not fully aware of the whole process because I haven't gone through it, but I don't think this was the current administration that set it up this way. Forrest and maybe Justine, you can let me know if it was the current superintendent that set this up?
Yes, that is correct.
So it is. It's the current process. This isn't how it was with the previous superintendent.
My daughter was rejected from Tucson High in August of 2019. I literally tried to enroll her, and they said we refused her.
Wow.
And at that point, I had no choice. So, like I said, there's been some egregious situations between the local school district and I in the past. So I didn't really think, not getting my funding was all that odd.
Yeah. So
they've never been very compliant.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, because Forrest is mentioning in the chat that it was perfectly fine before the current superintendent, Kathy Hoffman, took over. And that concerns me. I know that concerns everyone else, because my problem with her since the beginning has been she ran her campaign on shutting down the ESA program. She wants government schools only. I mean, that was what she ran on. She wants to fund them, and she wants to shut out other options. So this kind of gives me the feeling that they're making it hard for parents to get through the system to get their kids the education they need, so they give up and just revert back or default back to the government option.
Yes, that is correct. It's almost like it makes it too difficult. And I'll tell you something. For parents that have special needs children, there's a lot of hoops that we constantly have to jump through. It's never easy. Just every day, raising a child with special needs is more difficult than it is for children who are not special needs. And it's very frustrating that there's no guidance. There's no, here's your award. It's just a handbook that says, here's what you're not allowed to spend the money on. But it doesn't offer suggestions like, you realize you can go get this. You can get, physical therapy. You can get occupational therapy. You can get speech. You can do gymnastics that's helping with their physical, get them mobile. They don't offer suggestions. And there's a lot of restrictions. So there's a lot of fear of once you've received the funding, you're kind of on your own. You're liable and responsible 100% for that money, and if it doesn't get approved, you're responsible for paying for it. And so there's no real clear delineation as to what you can and cannot spend it on. And when you have special needs kids, you really need to have that clear understanding, because children with special needs, they run the gamut. I mean, you never know. Every child's different, and I think that's the whole purpose of school choice, is that they're all completely different.
Yeah. So clarify the point. If you, as a special needs parent, are making a choice to put your child in a better environment that's suited for them without, quote unquote, being approved, or not knowing if that environment will be approved, you could be on the hook. You could be liable for that expense.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a very reactionary system. It's not terribly proactive.
So definitely,
for parents who have children that are military and that are on tribal land, they're going to school that does not include IEP, 504, or MET needs.
Okay.
These children that do have these additional school needs, physically, emotionally, and psychologically, you have to have a guide. There needs to be some more information, or else parents are going to be freaked out. They're not going to want to use this system. Yeah.
Well, if you make it hard, like anything, if you make it too hard, people are just going to give up. And it's very unfortunate, because we don't, not every parent is like yourself or some of the other ones who speak up and speak out and really fight. It's unfortunate that they make the system they design the system that way so that people will give up. And it sounds like this is what's going on right now. As Forrest said, Kathy Hoffman is fulfilling her campaign promises of trying to end the ESA program by making it so difficult. And with the media request, that it sounds like there could have been some targeting that's actually going on. And I know that's something that I think Goldwater Institute, maybe some other legal firms may be looking at, because if the media requested the files, what did they need that information for? Why are they trying to get contact information for ESA families? Are they going to go beat down their doors and try to contact them directly and shame them for being an ESA family?
Right.
I mean, that's what I feel.
I firmly believe there's a lot of theories that go around with this whole ESA breach. One of the theories that scares me, because my family and I were all victims of abuse of power from the government, and retaliation is real,
Yeah.
and it happened to my family, and it caused me to have to be in a 3-year-long litigation fighting for our family's rights. We still have our rights. We've won all of our rights and retained them, but it nearly killed my family's spirit and everything in the process. And no family should have to go through that when the government works for us, right?
I agree.
It's a process that needs to be turned back around, to be quite honest.
I agree. Well, the good news is that Purple for Parents supports you and other families that are going through this. And now we know we have the support of the AZ GOP based on the resolution that was passed at the state meeting. Kelly Ward, thanks for joining the live cast here. She's in support of you and the other families. We all want to see this program fixed and succeed. I know Kelly does. She's spoken out in huge support of what we're doing as a group and what the AZ GOP is going to do to help support us in what we're doing. So we really thank her for that. And we've got to fix this. And I know, some of the senators, the other House members down at the state are working very hard on this right now. Kelly Townsend, Senator Allen, Forrest has been really working hard on this as well. Hopefully he can get into our House and do better work down there with the other legislators. Something's got to happen, though. Something's got to give, because the left is definitely, and it's not even just the left. Unfortunately, we've got some Republicans that are supposed conservatives that are actually voting against some of these efforts and trying to undermine a lot of these efforts as well, because they have their reasons and they have their agendas that they're working on.
What this shows me is that they will stop at nothing. And right now, we're not dealing with the state agency per se. There's a lot of unions and a lot of groups out there that are swarming around that state agency, Arizona Department of Education, trying to get rid of this program, because they are under this preconceived notion that if ESA succeeds, public schools are going to drain out and teachers will be left without jobs.
Yeah.
And it's going to be catastrophic. And that's not the case. And to be honest with you, if something is failing so badly, such as TUSD, if you could open that up to school choice for all, I guarantee you more parents would make choices to not have to go to TUSD. And, it would open doors to opportunity for children and how they each learn differently, yes. But, it really also comes down to accountability. And our public government schools have not been held accountable, ever. They've always held parents accountable. And it's time to put their feet to the fire and let the strong survive. And there are amazing teachers out there that will thrive in the ESA realm if we can get this to be a school choice for all.
I agree. Well said. And we're going to help do that as a group. We're going to fight. One of the things, we're going to have some calls to action. I'll have Michelle, Angie, some of the others post up some post in the group as far as like RTS, the request to speak system. Everybody needs to go get on that system to help support our legislators in the bills they're putting forth. Because if they don't know that we're in support of them, then they feel a lot of pushback from the people who are against it, and they may cave to that pressure. So they need to know that the people are behind them. And if we're not speaking up, they don't know. So whether it's a phone call...
I can tell you firsthand, as a parent and as somebody running for Congress, trying to get answers for people who come to me with questions.
Yeah.
But primarily just for some emergencies that I've needed, I've been able to contact Kelly Townsend and get a response, contact Senator Allen, Mark Fitcham. Forrest is a given. He's always been so supportive of making sure that parents know their rights so they don't allow their rights to be violated. The problem is that most parents don't even know what their rights are. Yeah. And that's why the school districts and these unions and these teachers are all able to trample on those rights. And so, I'm so thankful for groups like Purple for Parents, because to be honest with you, ever since the big Red for Ed walkout of 2018, I've been a part of this group, and I've just had so many answers, questions answered very quickly, and it has probably saved me tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees.
Oh, definitely.
Everybody should be paying for us a lot of money.
Oh, definitely. It's been an immense help. So we really appreciate you, Forrest. Thank you, Kelly Townsend, Senator Allen. Thank you so much. And now we've got, as I said, we've got the backing of the AZ GOP and Kelly Ward behind us. So we're going to be an unstoppable force moving forward. We are going to take back education, as the hat says. We're going to make education great again. President Trump is on our side. We're not going to stop. So going into 2020, we have to go up and down. We have to go up and down and vote in conservatives from school board, city council on up. It's got to happen. So if there's nothing else tonight, as I mentioned, we'll get some posts out there as far as the upcoming events that we need people to show up to and support. Get on the RTS system. I'll have Michelle make a post about how to do that. She's got the instructions. And we just need to reach out to our legislators, let them know what we're supporting and that we support them.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, I thank you, Justine, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Absolutely, anytime. Sorry I couldn't get on there. I was hoping
we'll get it fixed.
My Megan hat tonight.
Yeah, we'll get the technology sorted out next time. Thanks, everyone.
You got it. Have a great night, everybody.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.